When the American Revolution ended in the creation of the United States, there was a lot of anti-British sentiment hanging around. This included things like dissuading Americans from drinking tea, refusing to buy British goods, and creating a distinctly American identity. However, if you've noticed, many of the original 13 states have names that are distinctly British. But given what must have been the strength of anti-British feeling after the Revolution, why did the Americans choose to keep the old British state names? So of the 13 original colonies, 9 of them were named after British things. New York was named for the Duke of York, the later King James II. New Hampshire was named for, well, Hampshire, and New Jersey for the island of Jersey. Pennsylvania was named after William Penn's dad, William Penn. And the rest were named for British monarchs, or in the case of Virginia, Queen Elizabeth's famed chastity. Now, after the British were defeated, there were some in the new United States who desperately wanted to break away from Britain culturally. George Washington was a major proponent of this, but when he won the presidency, he had much more important matters to deal with. Others, such as Noah Webster, made a much greater effort to remove British influence from the United States. Across the US, references to the monarchy were removed from the majority of public life, but no attempt was made to change the name of any state. So why? Well, the most important reason is that names have a lot of sticking power. Changing a state's name would require changing maps, signage, official documentation, and would be difficult for most people to remember. Not to mention the fact that the people of New York fought for independence as New Yorkers, and so to take that and all of a sudden change them to being Floydians would have been absurd. Furthermore, many of those who lived in the US had either been pro-British during the Revolution or simply didn't pick a side, which meant that there would always be opposition to any major name changes. And to be blunt, Americans just didn't hate the British enough to change the name. It's the same reason why Louisiana kept its name after it was purchased. The US government and the people who lived there simply didn't care enough to do anything about it. Another reason was that the best time to change the name would have been during or shortly after the Revolution, when feelings were strongest. But as you can guess, the revolutionaries were quite busy, either fighting against the Redcoats or with each other over what their new government should look like. The leaders of the new republic were concerned over things like centralising debt or what the exact role and size of their new government would be. Not if Virginia's name should be changed to Randolphia. One major issue was that agreeing on alternative names would be nearly impossible. George Washington's popularity was one reason why naming the capital after him was relatively easy. But the other founding fathers were much less suitable. Many were controversial and had been quick to make enemies of those around them. And whilst places like Massachusetts were named after Indian tribes, the vast majority of the other states were in no such mood to do that. And these reasons combined are why these states have kept their monarchical names to this day. Thank you for watching, with a special thanks to my patrons: James Bisonet, Sky Chappelle, Kartoitska, Marcus Arsner, Yuduan Wang, Anthony Beckett, Blue Cardinal, AF Firefly, Spencer Lightfoot, Wyan Hockey, Captain Psydog, Alex Schwinn, Gustav Swan, The McWhopper, Robert C. Perkins, Spinning Three Plates, Annie McGeehee, Kamoon Yoon, Maggie Patskowski, Mirza Ahmed, Calling Dr. Howard, Dr. Fine, Dr. Howard, Nova Historia, Danny Atanasio, Copper Tone, Words About Books Podcast, Winston Kaywood, Remco Huisman, Jim Struenberg, Charles I, Lord Beak, and Betkabot.